Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Wednesday, the 28th day of June 2023. I hope that you're safe and healthy today and you're getting ready for the holidays coming up. I hope that your family's safe and healthy and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field who, along with the first responders, are out here every day trying to save lives. And those also that pick up garbage to keep our streets and sidewalks and places clean and disease-free, along with those that do the humble work of making deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings upon the men and women that are out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover the unfortunate victims of child molestation and pedophilia, who are the teenagers and children. And people who are out here trying to rescue other people who are victims of prostitution and child prostitution, pornography, and child pornography, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators of these things. Double curses on those who profit from these things. And double curses on all the perverts that create the demand of which other perverts provide supply. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. Nearly 600,000 men, women, and children homeless in the United States of America and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. So today, a lot of people have been, and I've been listening for a couple of days. I've been kind of busy, but a couple of days I took off from doing my pods, my videos, and I've been listening to a couple of other pods and listening to fans and tweets and platforms, sometimes wasting my time. But one question nobody's asking, which I find strange. See, a couple of years ago, Leon Rose acquired Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier. And it didn't work out. They're cleaning up that mistake. It didn't kill the Knicks, but it didn't work out. And in fact, within probably 48 to 72 hours, the end of that mistake will be cleaned up as Fournier will probably be sent out. But the biggest problem with the acquisition of those two players, and there were several problems. The biggest problem was that they weren't Tom Thibodeau type players. You see, when you hire a coach, which Leon Rose did, he hired Tom Thibodeau, you're hiring a coach for a reason. Aside from the obvious reason is that you're looking to win. Okay? Most coaches get fired because they have more losses than wins. So you don't want that. And then sometimes because of that, sometimes the front office gets fired too. So Leon was trying to make sure he had a coach that can bring him more wins than losses, which Tom Thibodeau has done very well. So when you're hiring a coach, you know you're getting certain things from a coach. The sad thing about many of y'all Knicks Nation is you overanalyze every coach that the Knicks have had. I've been watching this for many decades, and Tom Thibodeau's no different. And you sometimes obsess over what you perceive as negatives instead of seeing the end results. But every coach has things that they bring to the table, and of course, there's negatives as well. But when you're hiring that coach, you're looking to win. So overall, with all the positives and negatives, at the end of the day, you're looking to win. You're looking to get in the playoffs. You're looking to go toward a championship. The Knicks were rebuilding when they hired Tom Thibodeau. What does Tom Thibodeau bring to the table? A defensive mentality. He brings a toughness to the culture. Okay, he has that's going back many decades. He didn't just start coaching 5 years ago. He's been going back all the way back to the 80s. As assistant coaches, and then, in the last 10, 15 years as a head coach. So you know you're going to get toughness. You're going to get defense. He's going to focus on rebounding. He needs players, above all, to be available. So these are the things he's looking for. Now, if he can get it, he likes some shooting. But the primary things for Tom Thibodeau is availability, toughness, okay, defense, and rebounding. That's what he's looking for. So in bringing in Kemba And Fournier, he did not get most of those things. At least you want to check some of those boxes, okay? Fournier could shoot, couldn't play defense, wasn't necessarily the toughest guy in the world, rebounding, availability was okay. Kemba, forget the availability part, which is the number one thing, okay? And so that didn't work out. I have found Leon Rose to be an intelligent, I call him the Don for many reasons. One of them is he's an intelligent, cerebral executive. He thinks, he makes judicious moves. He makes moves for the long term, not the short term. He makes moves that's going to compound later. And so he's very calculating. I call him like he's like a surgeon. He's got a scalpel and how he approaches building of NBA team. And he's done very well. I say all that to say, I don't think he's going to make the same mistake twice. So one question I started off this video saying nobody's asking is, with all the players available, who fits Thibodeau? That's a major question. That the answer to that will tell you who the Knicks will keep and who they won't keep. 3 years ago, when Tom Thibodeau came to the Knicks, 3 years ago, you had R.J. Barrett in his second year. 3 years ago. 19 turning 20. You had Mitchell Robinson in like his second year. At that time, he was 20 turning 21. Okay, these were young players. Then you just got Obi Toppin. You just got Emmanuel Quickly. That was the first draft of Leon Rose. And so in the beginning, that summer, before they even got to training camp, there was a lot of conversation among the fan base and some in the media about Tom wanting to trade off all the youth and bring in some vets. Because that's one of the things he does also. He does not like to play rookies as a general rule. And he likes veterans. Well, now we just finished year 3. RJ's going into his 5th year. So is Mitchell Robinson. Okay. Quentin Grimes is going to his 3rd year. Okay. So Emmanuel Quickly is going into his 4th year with Obi Toppin. All of these guys are now veterans. They're not only veterans. They're veterans that have played all their career under a Tom Thibodeau system. This would make Tom Thibodeau very comfortable with them. All of them. Deuce McBride. Because he can call, for example, Deuce McBride. Deuce has one of the hardest positions to play. Now, I'm talking about not only as a point guard, but Tom expects you when he calls on you, whether it's 30 seconds or 15 minutes, 20 minutes, even if you haven't played in 5 games, he expects you to be ready. And Deuce and guys like Obi, they come off the bench and they're ready. And they're reliable and they're available. Okay? So, with that in mind, you must look at what fits that. Because when you chose Tom Thibodeau as your coach, you're looking to continue to progress to win with that style. You have to, because otherwise you wouldn't have hired him. Okay? So now, you just won your first playoff series in more than 10 years this past season. You're progressing. You went from 41, we went from 21 wins and 17 wins before you got here. If you're Leon, you hired Tom Thibodeau, you hired a coaching staff, you went to 41 out of 72, then you went to 37, then you went to 47. So you're looking to build on that. And what you do at this point is you add to Tom Thibodeau style players. You want the whole team to have his thumbprint on it. So right now, you have a couple of issues that you need to deal with. Do you need to add to the team? Are you going to play Obi Toppin? Obi Toppin has been his whole career under Tom Thibodeau. Are you going to trade him? Are you going to play him? And Ian Begley said the other day, he said it multiple times, that the Knicks have stated to Obi that the thing is, if they can open up minutes for him to play, if there's a way they can do it, they'll let him know and he'll be happy and they'll be happy. If not, they'll work together because he has a tight relationship with the front office. Obi was picked by Leon Rose. He's got a big fan in Leon Rose and Worldwide West in the front office. So if there's some thing with Tom saying, I don't see how I can get him any minutes, they'll work out a deal to trade him. That could happen this week. I thought it was going to happen draft night. I hope it doesn't. I want Obi Toppin to be a Knick his whole career. And I explained the other day on Sunday how with just slight changes, you can get him 24 minutes a game. And he will be very effective 24 minutes a game. So that's just an example. So you have a group of players now. You're dealing with Emmanuel Quickly and Obi in their extension year, because now you're dealing with the business side. There's money involved now. And you're dealing with, what do you want to do in terms of changes? Do you upgrade at the 3 spot where RJ is? As I said, we talked about this. Do you want to get something that's present value ready versus RJ, which is future value? Do you want that now, or you want to wait? Are you going to trade Julius Randle? Are you going to try to upgrade at the 4? What are you going to do? You know, these things. The only surety, to me, there's 2 sureties. That's Jalen Brunson and Quentin Grimes. They're not going anywhere. Okay, for a lot of reasons. Some of y'all just don't look at stats. I look at stats all day. I look at stats. I look at game. I look at film. I look at stuff. And I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I know a ball player when I see one. Quentin Grimes ain't going nowhere. Okay, nor does he need to. Nor is he coming off the bench. Like I said, you got a 50, 40, 90 guy in the making right there. That's valuable. And not only that, he fits all of Thibs' criteria. Tough, available, can shoot. Okay, defense. Rebounding, he fits the whole thing. He's the package, okay? So you're going to keep him. Jalen Brunson, we already know. He's not the great defender, but, I mean, everything else. Toughness, shooting, IQ, floor leadership, availability, all of that is Jalen Brunson. So I was looking at, for example, I looked at the Knicks. Available to me for Tom Thibodeau on a high level means you play at least 70 games a year. You can come down to maybe 60, 65, but 70 is definitely a Tom Thibodeau. So you got to be available for 70 games. So this past season, I was looking, for example, Hartenstein, 82 games. That's Thibs, okay? Tough, available, rebounding, cerebral. Hartenstein would be a Thibs favorite. Emmanuel Quickly, obviously his grandson, right? 81 games. Julius Randle, 77 games. RJ Barrett, 73 games. Quentin Grimes, 71 games. Jalen Brunson, 68 games. Obi Toppin, 67 games. And those were your top ones. Now, you have to also bring in Josh Hart, who played 76 games. He just played 25 with the Knicks, and the other one was with Portland. But he's also very available. Not only that, almost all of these guys that I just named to you are plus when it comes to plus minus. Okay, some of them are like Jalen might have been a little minus defensively, but he's so high level offensively that he was plus 14 overall. Okay, so but most of these guys are plus. They're available. They're tough. They play Thibs style ball, and so if you're going to add to that the criteria, if you really want to, if Leon's going to fit a guy with Thibs, he got to fit that criteria. Now, some of y'all going to come at me with, well, you was talking about KP. Yes, I was. Because I felt like, in spite of all that, the skill level of the unicorn is such that we would work with him. And it would get to me, I felt confident with that because I got Obi Toppin. Because if I'm trading Julius Randle, I'm getting KP, and I got Obi Toppin. Between the two of them, I got all the availability I need. Okay, because I trust in Obi Toppin. But it's moot now because he's in Boston. But he was the exception. What I did is I looked up, and I'll put the link in the description box. I looked up guys that played the most NBA games over the last 5 years. So from 2018 to 2023. And I was looking for a minimum of 350 games because if you played 350 games over 5 years, that means you play 70 games a year. And you did it consistently, right? So over the last 5 years, Mikal Bridges played the most games, 392. Again, tough defense, rebounding. He's not the strongest rebounder, but he'll get you what you need. And, of course, availability. 392 games over the last 5 years, Mikal Bridges. Improved shooting. He would be, to me, the ideal diamond fit for the Knicks. But the Nets are not giving him up. They made that pretty clear. But listen to this list of names that have played at least 350 games over the last 5 years. Well, Bam Adebayo and Kevin Huerter and Bruce Brown have all played 349 games. So we'll give them honorable mention. Bruce Brown, Kevin Huerter, Bam Adebayo, 349 games. But listen to the list of players that have played at least 350 games over the last 5 years. And I feel like this list is more representative of what Thibs might be looking for. Okay, so we mentioned Mikal Bridges, 492 games over the last 5 years. That's almost playing 80 games a year. It's ridiculous. That's really good. Buddy Hield, 386. Royce O'Neal, 377. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, 371. The Joker, 368. Vucevic, 367. Harrison Barnes, 366. Tobias Harris, 363. Jordan Clarkson, 360. Jason Tatum, 359. Dorian Finney-Smith, another available guy, 358. Julius Randle, 357. DeMar DeRozan, a favorite of some of y'all, 356. Rudy Gobert, 356. Tyus Jones, 356. Ivica Zubac over there in the Clippers, 355. Trae Young, surprisingly enough, he's been durable, 353. But see, a guy like Trae Young is available, but there's no defense. Okay, and I don't know. I mean, there's no defense. I mean, he's not good. I mean, on defense. So he fits in terms of toughness. He fits in terms of availability, but his defense is so bad. I don't know, but that's just an example. I was surprised to see him on this list. P.J. Tucker, 352. Mason Plumlee, 351. George Yang, 351. And then I mentioned again, honorable mention, Bam Adebayo, Kevin Huerter, Bruce Brown. So all of these guys fit the toughness availability criteria for Thibs. Okay, so and of course some of them like we're not getting Trae Young, we're not getting Jason Tatum. We can forget it. Bruce Brown is on the market, but Bruce Brown is built for the bench, as you saw in the championship series with the Nuggets. But he's not a good defender. He doesn't fit the defense criteria. He's negative defender. Negative in the playoffs and negative during the season. He's a negative defender. But playing with the Joker, obviously, helps a lot. Okay, it makes guys that may not be that good look a lot better when you're playing with a cat like that. And the Joker, I mean, I'm very comfortable saying he's an all-time great basketball player in the NBA. That's the Joker, Nikola Jokic, one of the all-time greats. You're watching when you see, enjoy while you've seen him, because this don't come around all the time. Okay, this cat is something else. So playing with him helps. So I'm not interested in Bruce Brown though, because he's a negative defender. You could have one in Jalen Brunson, but you got to have everybody else tight. And he's not good enough offensively, to me, for the Knicks to be worried about him. I think he should be smart, which I think he will, re-sign with Denver, and run that band back and see if you could get another chip. That's what I would do if I was him. I mentioned Kevin Huerter to y'all before. Okay, solid player, available. I mentioned Harrison Barnes to y'all before. He's actually unrestricted free agent. They're having problems. The talks between him and the Kings have stalled. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm saying Harrison Barnes has played 366 games in the last 5 years. He plays more than 70 games. He's very solid. He's 31 years old. Solid pro. Solid pro. Okay? So, yeah, that's a guy you want to look at. As far as toughness, he fits the Thibs criteria. There's Jordan Clarkson. He fits the Thibs criteria. I don't know what he is. Let me look at his plus minus and see what kind of defender he is. But he fits the game as far as availability. That's the number one thing for Mr. Thibs. And so he fits that. But let me see what he does on and off basis. Jordan Clarkson is +3. He's a good defender. He's actually a positive defender. And he's +3 overall. So, yeah, he would fit the criteria. He's 31. So, I wouldn't pay him a ton, but he could fit the criteria if you wanted somebody for the bench. And of course, Julius Randle, we know all about Julius Randle. He's our guy. I mean, so we know all about him positively and negatively. DeMar DeRozan's another guy, very solid in terms of that. So, but the question you must ask, again, as we're talking about all of this, And a lot of people don't answer the question. I'm starting to ignore you when you do this. Don't talk about who we should go after without talking about who goes out. Because you're making no sense. Like to talk about Dante DiVincenzo and not talk about who's going out is ridiculous. Because you're not going to play all of those guys. Somebody's got to be out. Okay? And by the way, Dante DiVincenzo is a bad defender. I don't want him. I know the whole Villanova thing sounds good. He's a solid player. Again, he's playing alongside Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson. He got a chip playing alongside Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yes, he's very good coming off the bench on a championship team. He's proven that. He is. But if you compare him to Quickly, look at Emmanuel Quickly's stats, especially the plus-minus stats. They're in two different worlds. Two different worlds. Okay? Two different worlds. So no, it sounds cute. There's Villanova connection. I know the lobbying for him and he got fans in the front office. I don't think Tibbs is one of them. He has, this last season, he played 72 games. But look at him prior to that. He's not reliable. He's not available. Okay? He was hurt in Milwaukee. He averaged like 40 games a year in Milwaukee before he was traded. So, I don't think he's a Tibbs guy. We'll see what happens. They might still get him. But see, if Leon's not going to repeat the mistakes of the past, he's not getting Dante DiVincenzo. He's not a Tibbs guy. Okay? He's a Brunson guy. He's a Hart guy. I don't think he's a Tibbs guy. Okay? I think the Knicks should hope IQ signs this extension. There's very few players in the NBA that match up to him. Statistically or as a player, coming off of the bench. Okay? So there's that. And then like I mentioned, Tobias Harris. Now, Tobias Harris, solid. What I like best about Tobias Harris is he's at the end of his contract. See? But for Tobias Harris, for you to get a Tobias Harris out of Philadelphia, you're going to have to give up some stuff. And see, you got one more year of him. He's in the last year. He's going to get $39 million this year. I don't mind that. For 1 year, I don't mind it. I don't feel comfortable trading RJ Barrett for him. I don't feel comfortable doing that. Okay? So I don't know what they do. I feel more comfortable starting Tobias Harris and having RJ come off the bench. But then there's somebody that has to be out, right? So if they were going to trade Obi Toppin, God forbid, but if they did trade Obi Toppin, and to me, this is the best scenario for Tobias Harris. You trade Obi Toppin, okay? You send them your Fournier money with Obi, okay? And you're going to need some other money to make that work. But you send them Fournier's $19 million. You send them Obi's. I think Obi's going to get $6 million. You send him Obi $6 million. So now you're talking about 25. This guy makes 39. You're going to need some more money. But you're going to put RJ off the bench and he's going to be able to play the 3 or the 4, and you have Tobias Harris. That's to me the best way to do this if you're going to get Tobias Harris. Philly wants to get off Tobias Harris. Okay. It just hasn't worked out. He's still 30 years old. You got 1 more year left on his deal. He's such a reliable piece, though. I mentioned how many games he plays. He's available. Okay. Tobias Harris is available. But I don't know how you do it without hurting your own team. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to give up Josh Hart. I definitely don't want to give up Emmanuel Quickly. I don't want to give up Obi Toppin, but you're going to have to give up somebody. And then you're going to have to give up another player because you're probably going to need something in the vicinity of $33 million of salaries going back to Philly to make that work. And I don't know anybody else I want to give up. So you're talking about Isaiah Hartenstein. I don't think I want to do that. But you see, so you're talking about $19 million from Fournier, $9 million from Hartenstein is $28. Then you add Obi Toppin, that's 34. That makes it work. That makes it work. So either A, you really better to be dependent on Jericho Sims, and I believe in Jericho Sims. Or B, you got to give away somebody else. I see, that's what I'm saying. Hartenstein played 82 games last year. Hartenstein's reliable. He's a tough kid. And he's only 24. I'd rather not give him up. And we got him on an expiring deal. But it depends on how badly do you want Tobias Harris. Now, on the flip side, let's say, okay, you put Jericho Sims as the backup 5. You got, which I don't really like, but you got, I like Sims, but I'm still not sold on him as a solid backup. Maybe we just got to put our trust in him. Then you got RJ, you got IQ, Josh Hart. You got Deuce coming in behind them. That's a nice freaking team. And with Tobias Harris shoots 40% from 3. He's a really good defender. This guy is no joke, okay? He's a solid player. And, you know, he's not a superstar. But you're not looking for a superstar right there. You're looking for a solid dude, okay? And Tobias is that. He's a professional. He really is. He's from New York, and he's a professional. I like him. Yeah, I do. I like him a lot, especially in this scenario. I wouldn't get him 5 years ago for 180 million, but I'm saying right now, what you're talking about is a 1-year guy. That's what you're talking about. 1 year. I don't know, Knicks Nation. I would look at that if I was them. And he's a Tibbs type dude. He shot 39% from 3 last year. He's a 37% career 3-point shooter. He's really been shooting it well over the last 3 or 4 seasons. Solid dude. Gets you 9 rebounds. No, he gets 9 boards a game, 4 assists. High IQ. Yeah, I like Tobias Harris. You know, he's more polished than RJ. I don't want to give up RJ though. And I don't know if Philly would require that. I don't know if they would, because they would be getting off this large contract, right? So Obi would probably get that done. So it would be Hartenstein, Obi, and Evan Fournier. That would get that done. I don't even know. You don't even need draft capital for that. So that can happen. That's a nice fit for this season. That could get the Knicks to the next level. It allows RJ to develop some more. Yeah, I like it. And RJ's available also, so now you're making him more available because he's coming off the bench. I don't know if they'd like him coming off the bench, but that's how I would do that. That's another guy that you want to look at, Tobias Harris. Jordan Clarkson, Tobias Harris, Harrison Barnes. These are solid Tibbs type dudes. Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield's the best, statistically, the best 3-point shooter in the NBA. Okay, been that way for a couple of seasons. He's available, obviously. He plays most of the games. Buddy Hield's played 386 games in the last 5 seasons. He is as available as it gets. He's up there with Mikal Bridges in terms of availability. So, yes, you know, you want to look at Buddy Hield. But again, who's going out? Who's going out? Well, again, I'm feeling really bad today because I keep mentioning Obi Toppin. And the reason I keep mentioning Obi Toppin is because when you look at the whole thing, he is the odd guy out. Now, let me make a strong disclaimer here. If Tom Thibodeau decides, yes, I'm going to get this kid 22 minutes a game, we just run it back. Okay? If Tom Thibodeau decides, I'm going to get Obi Toppin 22 minutes, 24 minutes a game, I promise I'm going to do that. I'll make sure he's involved this year. If that is a goal, and that would be right, it would be fair, it would make sense because he's been with Tom the whole time. He's played his duels. So then, yes, you keep Obi Toppin and you just run with Obi Toppin because I'm telling you, Obi Toppin got all-star talent. And I believe in it, and I want to see him out there. Whenever he gets a chance to start and play more than 30 minutes, look at the stats. Look at the numbers he puts up. When he plays more than 30 minutes a game, he averages over 20. Okay, he does. He's tremendous talent, this kid. So, and everybody telling me no, I don't want to hear from you unless you looked at his stats. Look at his stats and come back and tell me no. Because every time he plays more than 30 minutes, he's getting 20 points. Sometimes 40. Okay, so you definitely want to keep it if you can. But if you had to, you make the deal for Buddy Hield, for Obi Toppin. You send him, again, Fournier's contract goes there. You bring back Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield's a plus defender. Okay, he's a plus defender. Again, if it was me, I'd like to start him. He's better when he starts. But if I had to, I mean, for Tobias Harris at 6'8", 6'9", you put him in a 3 spot and bring RJ off the bench. But for Buddy Hield, I can see no. Okay, but you bring him off the bench with Bob Deep, and you got something there because this cat can shoot it, and he's a defender, and he's available. He fits all the Cribs criteria. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you're asking Tom Thibodeau, from my perspective, he's going to be talking about Buddy Hield. He's going to be talking about Harrison Barnes. He's going to be talking about Tobias Harris and Jordan Clarkson. That's the type. He might even be talking about DeMar DeRozan. This is the type of guys Tom Thibodeau would want. What the Knicks do, we'll see. Okay, we'll see. Like I said, the Dante DiVincenzo thing has been gaining a lot of steam. I get it. He's not as good as we think he is. He's really good coming off the bench for a championship team. Again, he's proven that. But if you're looking for him to be Josh Hart, you're going to be disappointed. He's not Josh Hart. Okay? He's not. He can hit an open three. He can hit a big shot. He's not a good defender. He's not. Okay? He just played 72 games last year off the bench. Maybe that's a trend going forward. As far as career-wise, he's not reliable enough for me. And I don't think he's reliable enough for Tibbs. Especially if you're talking about letting an Obi Toppin go. I don't know. So here we are on June 28th. We're going to find out starting tomorrow. Tomorrow they're going to exercise the option on Deuce McBride. You're going to start seeing some things. Tomorrow is when they got to decide whether they're going to opt in for, whether Josh is going to opt in, opt out, whatever they're going to do with him. These things are happening. And I suspect moves are going to be made. Part of the opt-in, opt-out situation with Josh Hart is other moves are being determined with this. And so we're going to see that starting tomorrow. Or, we'll see. I predict by Sunday, Evan Fournier will not be a Knick. He's going to be part of a package. What that package is, we don't know yet. It could go to San Antonio. He can send Obi and Evan to San Antonio. I don't think you do that because you're not getting nothing back that's going to help you. When you're losing Obi Toppin from your rotation, you got to bring something in there. I don't like 3 6'4" guys. In talking, you talk about 6'3" Emmanuel Quickly, 6'4" Josh Hart, 6'4" Dante DiVincenzo. I do not like that. I don't like that. I don't think Tibbs like that. He'll settle for Josh Hart as his 4, but another 6'4" dude on top of that, I don't think so. So we'll see what happens. But as far as reliability, there's DeMar DeRozan. Like I said, there's Jordan Clarkson. There's Tobias Harris. There's Harrison Barnes. There's Buddy Hield. These guys are all reliable, and they all play defense, and they all will fit Tibbs' system. All of them. Okay? So we'll see what happens. DeMar DeRozan, he played RJ's spot. I don't want to give up RJ for DeMar DeRozan. I don't. RJ's my future. DeMar DeRozan is past, and he might give me one more good year here. Okay? But I'm not giving up RJ for him. Okay? Oh, by the way, OG Anunoby fired his agent, Rich Paul of Clutch Sports. That could be significant. We'll see what happens. Now, OG Anunoby, I don't know how reliable he is. How OG Anunoby's 25 years old. He played 67 games last year, 48, 43, 69, 67, 74. Okay. Maybe it's a borderline as far as his reliability. Of course, we know he's all NBA defense. So we know that. We know he's a 40% three-point shooter. So that's a possibility. We ain't giving up no 3 first-rounders for him. Masai Ujiri's out of his freaking mind. But we'll see if he comes back down to sanity. But he just fired his agent. That's a significant move. We'll see how this works out. It's going to be a big 48 hours, y'all. Sit tight. Enjoy your Wednesday. Shalom.